this is Trinesha, and today I wanted to talk about just be real with yourself. I don't know if the title is going to be that long. It might be just be honest and be honest. I don't know what it's going to be called for real, but we're just going to go with be real with yourself because, as life has been lifing and I've been going through the things that I've been going through, it has been, I don't want to say it's been like something that I can't handle because God's in my life. But I noticed myself earlier today. I was getting ready to just smile everywhere I was going. Like I just wanted to put on this fake smile. And I know that's like a little too real for some people because you just want to, pretend like everybody just has a good day every day. Or, we have that saying, everybody's going through something. And although we say it as if it's just a one liner, it's real. Like when we're going through stuff, it's not just like everybody's going through something. It's like, oh my gosh, like life is really hitting me right now. And sometimes we don't know what to do. Sometimes we really feel like, all right, what am I going to do from here? What do I need to do next? What are the things that I should be doing in my life? And, seeking God and his guidance really does help you a lot. And for me, God has been telling me for like the last 2 days to rest. And if you're like me, I am super over analytical and I always like to be doing something. And so resting for me is like, okay, I'm resting, but I'm still doing a bunch of stuff, if that makes any sense. Like instead of me maybe focusing on one thing, I'm doing something that I enjoy to do, but it's still a lot. And so it's funny because God told me to rest and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do today? I'm going to exercise, because since I don't have to go in or I'm not working today and I'll be doing my business and stuff like that, but I won't be doing anything else. And so I have intentionality for the whole day. Of course, I'm going to, seek God first above everything else. Of course, I'm going to exercise because I exercise every day. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to exercise. These things are going to try to come my way to try to distract me, but I'm not going to be distracted. The one big distraction that I had that really like could break my focus is no longer an issue. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about that ever again. I mean, at least right now for the next however long, few months to 5 years, however long it is. And so I'm like, okay. And by then I'll be in another position in my life or another level, so it won't matter anyways. And so I'm just like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work out. Don't have to worry about the distractions. And after that, I'm going to finish up this class. I'm going to do all of this schoolwork. I'm going to work on, this group that I'm in. I'm going to work on finishing out some of the content that's going on. I'm going to create more content. I had this long list of things and God's like, didn't I tell you to rest? And I'm like, for me, I don't know what rest means. I really don't. And it's so funny because God will be telling me to rest or to do something or just be still. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm being still. And then I like get antsy and I start feeling like I want to do more stuff or like I'm not doing enough. And for me, it's more like I don't want to say a guilt thing, but it's kind of like because I wasted so much time in my past and not doing the things that God wanted me to do. I just kind of did what I wanted to do. I did what was beneficial for me without without sacrificing anything. I don't know what's happening with my voice. It must be because the weather went up and down again. But every time it messes with my voice. And I know some people are like, oh my goodness. But every time God tells me to rest, I'm just like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it is to rest. And like I said, the guilt or whatever you want to call it just makes me feel like I just wasted too much time to not be down for God now. Like I spent too much time doing the things that I wanted to do when I wanted to do those things. I spent too much time being with the wrong people that God never told me a yes on. I spent so much time like focusing in on the wrong things. And when God says rest, I'm just like, but I wasted so much time. I'm not trying to like give excuses to God, but I really feel like I wasted so much time. I don't want to waste another day, doing something that only I want to do. I don't want to waste another day doing something where I'm just resting. But I know that listening to God's direction is the most important thing because If God's telling me to rest while I'm resting, He's working things out for my benefit. There's things that are happening that I don't have to put all of this extra effort into making it happen because God's working it out on my behalf. And I'm not saying be lazy and just have your hand out waiting for God to give you something. I'm saying that faith without, you have to put forth an effort. You have to be willing to work at something. But that does not mean that you don't rest when God says rest. Because even God rested after He created all of the things. And so we really have to be intentional with the rest that we're getting. And it's so funny because I have this standing appointment with God at 5 a.m. while I'm fasting, and it might go on after the fast or after Lent. And so, and I say fast and Lent because while I'm doing Lent, you usually give up something. And so most people call that a fast. And also, I'm doing this 21-day fast. And so God is like, although I'm meeting with Him at 5 a.m. every day, this morning God said rest. And the last time God told me to rest was like 5 months ago. And I just felt like I had to keep going. I couldn't just stop, and I just wanted to keep doing all of these things. And God's like, why are you doing the most right now when I told you I got you? You know? And I feel like that's how we are in a lot of our relationships as well. And not like I'm a relationship expert. I mean that in friendships. I mean that with family and everything else. Sometimes, we'll be doing the most. And it's like the people in our lives know who we are. Like they know how we are. They know what we do. They know the type of person that we are and the type of heart that we have. And so we can't fool them. We can't pretend like we got all of these things together or we're gonna do all of these things. Sometimes just being honest with the people around you helps you the most. And I don't mean just like being open to attack and allowing people to just crush you. I mean when the time, like if I'm talking to a family member or something like that and I'm really going through something, instead of me pretending like I'm okay, I'll be real about it. And I learned to do that because of counseling and because of all the work that I've been doing on my self-care, self-healing journey. I really have been focusing in on trying to become a better person and not just putting up this fake facade of the person that I think people want me to be, but being who I genuinely am, you know. And so it's funny because I wake up at 5 a.m. this morning and I'm like, okay, God, I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll stay up. Maybe I'll work on all these things. And God's like, rest. I mean, I heard it so clear and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. I'm going to rest. And I sleep until it's time for me to take my daughter to school. Like that's how late I slept. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know I was tired. I didn't even know that I felt exhausted or that I was using all that energy. And I mean, I slept so good, like peaceful. I wasn't tossing and turning. I had the best rest in those couple hours or so that I've had in a long time. And today I'm just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And I know I'll exercise because I exercise every day. But it's almost like God is saying, just spend time with me. And I don't know what that looks like, because I do listen to sermons and everything else anyways. But I definitely want to be obedient this time because last time I felt like I couldn't stop. I felt like I was so used to the momentum of constantly going and doing all of these things that stopping just seemed like something that I couldn't do. But God like has been really checking me lately like, hey, all of the things that you thought were going to happen did not happen that way. All the things that you thought you were going to have in your life, you don't have in your life because I'm trying to do something on the inside of you. And in order for me to work and do the things that only I can do, I need you to rest in this moment. I need you to just be. I need you to be real with yourself. And when he said that, I felt it in my soul because I've really been like today, I felt like I needed to smile, even though I feel like I just feel in between. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I don't feel like I'm one direction or the other. I don't feel like I'm moving forward or backwards. I don't feel like anything's happening in my life, and I don't mean anything like, of course, I'm blessed every day I wake up. I mean, like, usually there's stuff that's going on that's happening. There's something that I'm in. There's something that I'm working on. There's these things that I'm doing, and all of these things are happening. And and God is just like, be honest with yourself. How are you feeling in this moment? Really, you don't have to lie to yourself or me because I know what's going on. And for real, like earlier when I dropped off my daughter, I felt like I just needed to smile the whole time. Smile when I dropped her off. Smile, all the way home. Just keep smiling and smiling. And on the inside of me, I felt God say, you need to be real with yourself. What is really going on? What are you really feeling? What is it that you really want? And it's funny because I think I know what I want, but I don't know. It's something on the inside of me just stopping me. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just feels like I know I want to do all of these things. And every time I get right there, it's like there's either a distraction that comes along, there's something that changes in the plan, there's something that doesn't go right, or something. And I get right there, like right there. I feel like I'm right on the edge, the cusp of greatness, or right on the cusp of creating something that could be amazing, of changing the world. I feel like I'm right there. And I don't know what it is that's stopping me from pushing over the hill. It just feels like internally it's something that's like pulling me back, like, okay, do you really want to go over here? And yesterday I was doing some self-reflecting and I really felt like, what's the alternative? Because if I don't go forward, I'm only going to be going backwards or standing still. And that's where I am. I'm just in this in-between stage, just standing still. I don't want to go back to the person that I used to be. I don't want to do the things that I used to do in life. I don't want to go back to being that old version of me, especially after I rededicated my life to God. I can't imagine living like that ever again in my life. Like, it just makes no sense for me to want to go back to being miserable and feeling like there's no hope, or feeling like every day is sadness or every day is misery, when I could live a day full of joy and thankfulness and gratefulness and in God's presence. And so, and standing still is like, although I'm not in the past and I'm not doing the things the way that I want to, I'm not doing anything to push forward. I'm not doing anything to move to the next level. I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but nothing, if that makes any sense. I'm doing busy work, you know, in my life. And I know God is hearing it and he's feeling it, because I'm just like, okay, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to push forward. I don't know where you want me to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And usually I could feel a sense of like where I'm heading. I could feel a sense of like, okay, God is doing this next. Okay, God wants me to do this. And lately I haven't been feeling anything. I've just been feeling like I'm just here, and I'm in between. And usually there was this pastor who said something about being in a pause state or something like that. And they said, this is the moment when God is getting ready to push you into purpose. And I know what my purpose is. But it's like whatever God is about to do is going to be something that I would have never expected. And only God can do it. It's not something that any person could do for me. I need to do this for myself. I can't get, parents or, family members or friends to do this thing for me. I have to be willing to do it for myself. And I just, I honestly feel like I want to have hope. Sorry. But yeah, I want to have hope. Oof, that made my eyes water a little bit. Goodness gracious. But yeah, I want to have hope and I want to be everything that God created me to be. I want to be able to do everything. I want to leave nothing left. All of the things that are bad that happened in my life lately. And I only say bad with air quotes because everything that's happened has been a blessing. I literally learned something new about myself. I feel like I thought that I knew what to expect in certain people and they surprised me. You know, I thought I knew like what it was that everything was going to look like. Like in my head, this is going to sound so silly, but in my head, I really felt like I was going to be in this, long relationship. I was going to either we were going to, be together forever or, since it didn't work out, in my head, this is what was going to happen. We were going to not be together. I was going to be single for the rest of my life. And I was going to be content with just me and God and nobody else. Like I'd never have to worry about feeling good enough for someone. I would never have to worry about feeling like someone was trying to put me down. I would never feel like someone would be making jokes at my expense. I never would have to feel like I was unappreciated ever again because God already created me worthy. I would have everything that I need and never, never have to worry about like the clothes that I'm wearing being like an issue and someone saying something about the things that I'm wearing or how I'm wearing something or the style that I wear my hair. I can just wear it however I feel like, without feeling like, oh, this person doesn't like this hairstyle or this outfit or they want to go this place and I want to go that place or, whatever else it is. Like, I just felt like my life was just going to be easy. It was just going to be me, myself, and I just doing what I want to do when I want to do it. Of course, discerning with God and following whatever it was that God wanted me to do, not just my thing. But I wouldn't have to check with anyone. I wouldn't have to make it into a thing. It would just be what I desired for my life, And I was just going to be single. I planned on not dating anybody. I planned on like maybe having like a conversation with somebody. Maybe I'd see someone somewhere and we'd be friends or something, and not friends because I don't want to go into detail with that, but I just thought that, we'd be cool and that's it. And I keep going about my life and every person just wouldn't be a person that I would be interested in anyways because everybody, really wouldn't be about it be about it. And so I just felt like there was no point in ever like meeting anybody or talking to anybody or getting to know anybody because every person wasn't going to be about it. Every person was just going to pretend to be something that they're not and then, you know, let me down or leave. And so I just kind of felt like it was pointless getting to know anyone. And so it's funny because you could plan your whole life out and God's like, you thought. And it's so weird because I'm like, okay, God, there's so many women that are like, they want to be in a relationship so badly. They want to be with somebody so badly. So why am I the person that you're saying is going to be in a relationship? Like, and at the beginning, I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. I couldn't understand why God would place that on me. I was just like, after all the hurt that I've been through, like, why would I ever want to be with anybody else ever again for the rest of my life? You know, and God really showed me a lot of things in the past year or so. He really showed me some things about myself, and it was hard. It was a hard truth for real. He showed me that I could be vulnerable. He showed me that I could meet someone who was genuinely a nice person. He showed me that I had some walls up that I didn't realize was there. He showed me that maybe you do desire to be with someone, but it would be the right person. He showed me that I could be stronger together than apart, than single by myself. He showed me that I could be a strong woman, that I could be independent, that I can accomplish all of these things in my life. And with the right person, we could be doing the most incredible things. Like, it would be something that I would need a partner to be able to do these things to benefit the kingdom. And not that I wouldn't benefit the kingdom alone, but while we were together, it would be so strong. And seeing it from that angle as not something that's a hindrance or something that's going to hold me back or something that's going to be a person being completely judgmental and stopping me from my purpose or making me feel like I can't do anything or talking down to me or making me feel badly, actually being able to see that it could be a person that we could benefit each other and we could actually grow and learn and be a representation of the kingdom of God. Allow me to see things in a whole different perspective. Instead of me thinking about the things that I was going to be losing, it helped me see the things that I might benefit or I might be able to gain from another person, you know. And it's so funny because I never would have imagined that. I never would have thought about ever being with somebody, I never would have thought that that would be a thing. And God can use anybody to give you a message. Like, if I could be reading the Bible and the Bible will say something and I'm like, oh, okay. And it could be like the most unreligious person. It could be somebody that's in church, somebody that's outside of church. It could be any person. And God will place a word on them and it'll be exactly what I needed. And I'm like, how does he do this? But I know that God can use any person, place, or thing for the kingdom, for the benefit of the kingdom. He really can. That's why when people say, well, I'm so messed up, I need to go to church after I get it together. I'm like, listen, go now. Because God wants you broken so that he can heal you. Every person, like I used to think that too before I rededicated my life to God. I used to think I have to be perfect. I have to be this perfect Christian. I have to do all of these things the right way. But every misstep that I take, every failure that I have, everything that's considered a loss is really used for God's gain. Because it will show other people your testimony. It'll show people that you're not perfect. God can use the most unperfect people to position you in purpose and change the trajectory of other people's lives. Your testimony could be the thing that changes so many people that someone that's perfect wouldn't be able to touch their life. He wants us that way because for me personally, I believe that when I was the most broken, it allowed me to be vulnerable enough for God to be able to enter into my heart and my soul, to change my spirit, to allow me to be the person that God created me to be and not the person that the world wanted me to be. It allowed me to see things from a whole nother perspective. It allowed me to really be able to grow that relationship with God. If I had not been through anything, God wouldn't have been able to use my story to help other people, you know. And I never, ever, ever imagined my life being able to help anybody, or me being able to help anybody. I always wanted to help people, but I never thought that was me, you know. And then God had me write this book. And it literally helped so many people. I didn't even think that was possible, you know. Every time I talk about the goodness of God, it just really puts me in tears. Every time. Because I know I'm not perfect. I know I mess up all the time. And God still loves me. I know things don't always turn out the way that I want them to, but they're turning out for the benefit of the kingdom. I know that everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. Intentionally. Like, there's some things that were taken out of my life and don't pay attention to my hair. I banded it because I was getting ready to work out and, I felt in my spirit to be here. So I'm here. And, people probably aren't used to seeing me like this, but yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I don't put on makeup. So this is what it is. I do a 3-step skincare program. I brush my teeth, I tongue scrape, I floss, Listerine, which is not Listerine, it's another brand. I cannot ever remember the name of it, but it's Dr. something. And it's really, really good. It really is great. And I do this 3-step skincare program. Sometimes I'll put like water and conditioner on my hair because I don't want it to get dry or whatever else, and I want to make sure that I'm nourishing it. I'm making sure that I'm keeping it well nourished. And this morning I just put these bands on it. I fell asleep with it pinned up, which is why it's sticking up a little bit, but I like to band it because it just keeps it together. And then when I finish like working out and I get ready for the day, I'll go in and I put a little bit more water on it and maybe some conditioner or some Eco Styler gel, and I'll just let it go and then it'll be done. That's kind of like how I do my hair every day. And I don't know why I need to go into the breakdown of that, but this is why I have my skin is like glowy-ish. But and then another thing that I do that it's like a little, I don't want to say pro tip, but it's something that I do that kind of helps me still look polished even though I have on no makeup, is I will go in and I take the eyebrow brush, like the brush end, not the pencil end, and I'll do this on my brows. So that's why they look like they're done, but they're not. I just literally go like this. And then they just look like that. And I do that just to keep them like nice, neat, and organized. So even though I'm not like full blown outfit or whatever else, like if I'm dropping off my daughter at school or wherever I'm going, I try to make sure that I put together something. Like I'll have like pink, not leggings, but they're kind of like joggers, but they're not like real loose. And then I'll wear like my black hooded sweatshirt or a black tee or something like that. Well, it's not really a black tee. They're like all fitted shirts. And then if I have on my fitted hoodie, then I'll wear like my pink Nikes with it. And then I'll put on my pink hat. So I don't have to worry about doing my hair. My hair is banded or it's in a ball or whatever else it is in the first thing in the morning. And I just go like that. And usually I have on like diamond studs or something like that. And I'll just go. And I try to do that because I still want to look polished, even though I'm like just going to drop off my daughter at school. If I have to stop at the store, I still want to be presentable. I still want to be taking care of my body. And, I want to make sure that I am keeping myself like nice and neat. I'm not just, sorry, I'm not just disheveled, when I go places. And today, I threw on these pants, even though I wouldn't say I don't agree with the way these pants look, but I was looking for my other pants and I couldn't find them. So these were the ones. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm wearing blue, blue and black pants today. And then I put on like my black Nikes. And then I just wore this shirt, even though it's silver with the gold jewelry, but it's fine. And so I'll do stuff like that. And most of the time I'll make it like a whole outfit. Like if I'm wearing a workout outfit, I'll wear like the all blue. I have a light blue, like it's like a fitted, I don't know what it is, but it's like some sort of Nike like jumpsuit thing, or not jumpsuit, but set. And so it'll have like a zip here, or it'll have like the collar, and then the sleeves are fitted, and then the leggings go with it. And I wear like my black Nike since it's got the black stripe down the middle, or something like that, or my black and white Nikes. And I'll make it like a whole outfit. And then like if I throw on my hats, it'll be either my pink hat, my gray hat that I wear with my gray shoes, or it'll be, I have a tan one. I usually don't wear the tan one. I usually wear that, or I wear my camouflage one. So sometimes I'll put on like my black joggers or my black leggings, and I'll have on a green shirt or something, and I'll wear my camouflage hat and my camouflage shoes that have the green in them. And so I'll do that just to like have something put together, so it's nice and neat. It's not like, it's intentional. It's not just like I just woke up and just rolled out of bed and then just went somewhere. I'm usually just trying to make sure that I'm good. And even when I'm sleeping, since I invested in those sets, I have the satin shorts that I'll wear with like the night tanks or whatever. And then I have the robes. I have the flowery pink robe, and then I have a black satin robe. So I'll make sure that even if I'm going to sleep, even if I'm working out during the day, whatever I'm putting on is intentional. And I'm doing it because I respect myself, I respect my body, and I respect my temple. So I want to make sure I take care of it in the best way that I can. And that includes eating the right things. So while I'm on this fast, I'm eating certain types of foods. When I'm not on the fast, I'm making sure that if I have a cheat day or whatever you want to call it, it's one day and I'm not overindulging. Like, I can't promise that when it's Thanksgiving. I can't promise that when it's like a cookout. But for the most part, I try not to overindulge. And so, as I'm going through this resting season, while I'm going through this in between stage, my main focus is to be focused on God, to listen to what it is that God's telling me. If He's telling me to rest, I need to rest. I need to rest in His Word. I need to rest and spend intentional time with Him. I need to make sure that I'm seeking His face above everything else. I'm doing all the things that He wants me to do and not just what I want to do. Like, yes, it seems fun to binge watch something. Yes, it seems fun to, just sit around and do nothing. And if God is saying, I need you to just be still and know that I'm God, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be still. I'm not going to try to do the most like I usually do. I'm just going to be still. There's a lot of things that I have to get done. Like, I have to do laundry. There's tons of laundry. I have to do so many things today. I got this order thing that I have to do. I have I have the class that I still haven't finished that I want to finish up. I've got my language thing that I'm doing. I've got all of the content and stuff that I wanted to start working on. And God's like, listen, you just need a day to focus in on one thing, to focus on me, and then I will guide you the rest of the way. And it's really hard. It really is, because I'm like, my mind is like, I want to start working on these things. Like, even here, I have my notebook for my class with all of my notes and stuff in it so that I can get ready to write. And I'm like, okay, you're not writing. And God's like, listen, just be still, rest. And I'm like, okay, God, like, I hear you. It's so hard to just rest, to just be still. It really is. I want to do so many things. I know, like, some people that don't like doing a lot are like, I could do that any day. Listen, I'm over analytical. So even when I'm sitting still, my mind's still going to be running a million miles a minute, thinking of all these ideas and things that I want to do. And I definitely need to be obedient to God. I need to be listening to Him so that I can get the most out of my life. Because there's this pastor that was talking and he said, you know, we spend so much time doing, he didn't say doing the most, that's my words, but he said we spend so much time doing the most that we don't realize that God could change your life in a moment, in a second, in a day, in a month. He can do more in that day than you can do in a whole year, putting forth all of this extra effort. And when he said that last night, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And then God told me to rest. So usually when he tells me to rest, it's because he's working something out for my benefit. It's because he's doing other things. And it's funny because I feel like recently I've been blocking my blessings. I've been standing in my own way. And how many of us do that constantly? We literally feel like we know what's best for us, and God knows what's best for us. Like, I was talking to my family member. And I was saying things about, like, meeting people. And I was like, well, maybe after I start working in another position, or I do this other thing, or I do this and I do that, then I'll be ready to be in some sort of relationship, which I wouldn't be in a relationship with anyone within a week of knowing them anyways. I would probably, get to know them first, and then we would eventually decide to be in a relationship if that's where we're both headed. If we both agree to, like, this seems mutually beneficial for both of us, or something like that. If that's what we both desire, you know. But I could feel myself starting to make excuses again already. And I'm just like, and then I had a conversation with this other person and they're like, you need to give people a chance. You really need to be more open to the fact or getting to know people. And I'm like, every person is telling me this. And I'm really trying to be open to the idea of, giving people a real chance. Because, like, in my mind, I already have, like, them losing, or I already have an idea of them not being who they say they're going to be. I already have like, I'm ready to just run already. And I barely know these people, in my mind. And God's like, God and everybody else is just like, you're never going to get all of the things that I have for you if you keep putting up this wall between you and other people. And I'm really, really trying. I'm trying to be more vulnerable. I'm trying to allow people to be in. I'm not crying. I just have my eyes itching this time. And now my eyes are getting watery. Oh, okay. But yeah, I really do need to intentionally be trying to allow people the opportunity to show me who they are. It's up to them to either step up or step out. It's not up to, and it's up to me. I can make the personal decision like, hey, this just isn't a good fit. I just need to give people a real opportunity. Like, I'm so ready to just be like, okay, that person's not it. Okay, that's not what I want. Okay, this is, I'm so ready to just run, for real, that most people don't get a real opportunity. I'm so ready to just be like, okay, well, this, and this, so that means this. And God's like, listen, you asked for discernment. I'm going to give you discernment. And yes, you will know these things, but it does not mean that you just write people off like it's nothing. It doesn't mean that you don't give people a real opportunity to show you who they truly are. Like, allow people the chance to really be who they are. And they don't have to be what you want them to be. They need to be themselves. They need to be able to be however it is that they need to be. They need to be the type of person who can be whatever it is, and without the fantasy, without unrealistic expectations, or without you thinking that they're something that they're not. And it's funny because we'll pray to God and we'll say, God, show me this. God, I want the power of discernment of the person and the spirit. We'll say all of these things, and yet we'll make the judgment call on our own. We'll be the person who says, oh, I really like this person, even though God's saying no. We'll be the person that says, oh, well, this person isn't this. Let me go ahead and write them off when God is saying yes. Or God is saying, listen, you need to be here at this moment so you can learn something from this. And I feel like that's what God is doing in my life right now. He's like, this might not be this, but it will be this, and I'm like, and I know that makes no sense for other people, but when you have an expectation that you set on certain people, good or bad, it's not going to allow you to see the person for who they truly are. And so I don't want this to go too long. And I feel, I just feel so in between right now. I want to be able to focus when I do these videos, and I want to make sure I'm giving out as much knowledge as I can of the things that I'm learning so that maybe it will help somebody else either not feel alone or know like, hey, I'm standing in my own way. I'm the only person that's stopping me from my purpose. I'm the only person that's stopping me from becoming a billionaire. I'm the only person that's stopping me from being able to expand my business. I'm the only person stopping me from being able to work remote or work on my own time whenever I want. I'm the only one standing in my way. And so, in conclusion, be real with yourself. You really don't have to be anybody else but you. The best version of you is who you should be. Continue to seek God, continue to seek his face, to be in your word, be in his presence. And being in his presence doesn't mean you have to constantly be talking about the things that you're going through. Sometimes it just means just being still with God, just listening to him, just allowing him to be there with you so that you can grow your relationship with him. So that as time goes on, as you continue on in your journey, He can guide you the right way because you'll know what his voice sounds like. You won't have to worry about hearing from all of these people around you that are trying to tell you to do the wrong thing. Not with the worst of intentions, but sometimes people put their own preferences on you. Sometimes, the things that they want, their desires, or what they want for you is not what God wants for you. And so you have to be really intentional with your life. You have to really use discernment. You have to really stay focused on God because God knows what he wants for your life. And it's not going to look like anybody else. It's going to look like your journey specifically. And so for me, today I'm going to rest. I I'm going to have to get out of my own head. I'm going to have to get out of my own way. I'm going to have to allow God to do whatever it is that he needs to do in me. I need to make sure that I'm being intentional. I need to make sure that I'm doing all of the things that God wants for me to do. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to stay focused on him. And I will continue, God willing, to show you how this turns out. Maybe it'll be something that'll be another testimony for somebody else who's struggling, letting people in, or struggling just resting, you know. And so I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you continue to seek his face above everything else. Seek him and the kingdom of God, his righteousness, and all that you could, and everything will be given unto you. Those are called according to his purpose. Just make sure that you are staying focused on God. That's what my intention is. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen in my life. I don't know when I'm going to meet the person. I don't know any of those things. But I do know God. And that's enough.